Hey watch aficionados, I hope you're all really well. Belated Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope you've enjoyed your turkeys, times with the family, everything and everything. It's been, again, classic line, a long time since I last posted, but I think this is just the way I do my YouTube channel. I kind of post as and when I feel that it's necessary. Kind of, in terms of following weekly watch updates and developments and this, that and the other, I genuinely don't have the time for it. In terms of posting, I've got loads of things happening outside the YouTube world which just don't allow me to always have the chance and opportunities to do so. But anyway, enough about my stuff. What am I wearing today and what am I going to be doing with it? Well, I've recently taken delivery of a, what is it even called now? Is it a Kermit? Is it a Starbucks? I call it a Kermit personally. I call it a Kermit 2.0, but I've taken delivery of this just yesterday. It's a 126610 LV. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's just off the top of my head. It's a 126610 LV, right? Submariner date. I actually got my hands on this watch quite some time ago, well, maybe a few weeks ago. A good friend of mine was visiting and he's got one, and I wanted to take it off him to do a YouTube video. And we were planning, and then we got busy, and then, me kind of squeezing in a video with the watch, I just didn't really feel that I wanted to do a rushed video of him just dropping the watch and going somewhere. Plus, I wasn't in a chatty mood, and usually when I do these videos I feel that I need to express myself so that people actually have something to watch and enjoy. So I exchanged with a guy on Instagram some time ago, and he said, this was a few weeks ago, he said it would be an interesting video to compare and contrast the Submariner Hulk versus the Kermit. And I actually had the Kermit in my hands, from a few weeks ago with a friend who was visiting, and that was kind of going to be the topic of my video. Now, I don't have a Hulk anymore. I sold it again. Actually, I've sold a few Hulks, but my personal one, again, I sold a few months back. I think the main reason for it was, even though I really liked the watch, it wasn't my original Hulk, and trying to rebuy that watch or that watch feeling with another watch, it's possible, it's definitely doable, but I just felt that it wasn't the Hulk I had. It wasn't my original 2013, and every time I put it on I liked it, but it was like a ship had sailed. Anyway, that's the kind of story behind the Hulk. It doesn't take away anything from the watch. The Submariner date, the Hulk is a fantastic watch, and I wanted to compare it with the Kermit. Now I've got the Kermit. I haven't sized it or anything. I've still got stickers on this watch. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure I'll be keeping this watch. I'm giving it a bit of a test drive. I personally don't really like to wear watches with stickers. It's a bit of a weird one, but my watch that I wear most of the time still remains my 16600. So why did I think it's a good idea to review the Kermit 2.0 versus the Hulk? I think they're both green watches. It's pretty obvious. They both fall within the same kind of category, the same bracket, the same pricing now in the grey market. I just think that there are so many similarities with them, but there are obviously quite a few differences between them for you to sort of choose this one or that one. So I think it makes sense to kind of highlight them. I obviously owned the Hulk for several years. I wore that watch day in, day out. I enjoyed it. It was my daily driver. It was my first Rolex. And one of the things about the Hulk when I first got it was I didn't know that the Kermit one existed, and it didn't exist in a retail shop when I was buying the Hulk. But I got into the Rolex world a little bit more here and there. And I always thought that the Kermit coloring scheme was a little bit nicer and a little bit more sophisticated compared with the Hulk. I mean, I bought the Hulk in the days where people hated the Hulk. Only now you've got the new watch fans who want the Hulk, who have, you know, the fear of loss or fear of missing out, you know, coursing through their veins, so everyone's jumping on everything. But shall I call it the genuine days of me buying a Hulk? I preferred the Kermit, kind of the colouring. I mean, I obviously there's different build qualities. We'll push that to one side. The dial was gorgeous. I mean, I got the Hulk. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the Hulk back when I bought it. The only thing I started to realise over time when I got into other watches or neo vintage watches were the lugs. The lugs bothered me in the Hulk. So guys, sorry that I haven't got a Hulk to feature in this video with this watch. To be honest with you, I'm not doing the best showcase for this watch anyway. I'm sure everyone's seen this watch a million times over, the Kermit 2.0, so I can't just hold it up to the camera. It's kind of pointless. You know, I could have done a video where I, you know, zoom in on the watches and compare them, but I think, you know, we need to just keep it sort of top level. And, you know, if you've got 16,000 pounds to spend on a grey market watch, the natural thing will be, shall I go Hulk? Shall I go Kermit? Is one a classic? One's not classic, one's current. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? One's classic, one's current. Current eventually becomes classic. Current eventually becomes discontinued. Kermit was before the Hulk. So I think that's a topic which you can again push to one side. Go with what you like. And what are the things I prefer with the Kermit over the Hulk? As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I prefer that it's green on black. I think it's a tad more sophisticated. Yes, you got the beautiful sunburst style in the sun, but I never wanted that much attention from my watch in the sun, to be honest. I liked the green. It was different. And I'm not backtracking on the Hulk or in any way, shape or form, but for me, what I liked about the Hulk wasn't that it wasn't a black Submariner. I didn't want a black Submariner. It was just so predictable, obvious. I personally don't like black Submariner dates, especially. I don't like black Submariner dates. I like black Submariner no dates. Black Submariner dates, I just don't like them. So I didn't want a black Submariner date. So my natural choice was to go for a green Submariner date. And green obviously meant full green. There was no half green, half black. There was just full green. So I went with a green Submariner date. Now, if I put myself back in 2013 and there was an option of getting half black, half green Submariner date, I probably would have gone for that one. Personally, I probably would have gone for that one. I think it's, you know, staying with its roots, but it's giving you a splash of color, but not totally overwriting the foundation of a Submariner, which is meant to be a little bit understated. There are people who are more extrovert than others, and some love coloring. Like personally, when you look at the Pepsi, for example, it's a little bit too much. You know, the new Pepsi GMT for me, it's a little bit too rainbow. The purple, the pink, the red, the blue, however you want to call it, however you want to see it, whatever sunshine you're sitting in, it's going to be blue, red, purple or pink, kind of mixture of those colors. And it is gorgeous, but it's a little bit too loud for me, and I don't know what's happening with me. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe it's just the way I was. I didn't really want a loud watch. I just didn't want a black Submariner date. So obviously there was the big change with Rolex Submariners going to 41mm. Personally, I don't really see the difference. I really don't. It is meant to be 40.3mm apparently. It's not actually 41mm. The bracelet is straight off my C Dweller 126600. It's a 22mm bracelet. I think my 12660 has a 22mm bracelet as well. So the bracelet is definitely wider. How does it look with the Submariner? I preferred the 20mm bracelet, if I'm honest with you. My issue was always the lugs. I think Rolex have done a very smart, crafty job here. They've changed the appearance by adjusting the bracelet size, taking away some of the lugs. So they've kind of given us what some of us wanted. They've given us the they've given us the more, won't focus, they've given us more of a balanced look, but I think that it's more a play with your eyes rather than addressing the problem that many were having. I mean, I think from speaking with a lot of people, and not even speaking with a lot of people, from seeing a lot of people wearing Submariner dates, especially the 11 series, the 116610, etc. A lot of the time that sub was too big for the people I saw wearing it. You know, people never had that issue with the Submariner. I know some people who you would say is just an average person, average wrist, average arms, and the sub looked big on them. It kind of looked like someone wearing a Breitling, or a bigger guy wearing a Breitling is just a bigger watch. And I'm not sure that Submariners were meant to be positioned that way, or they ever were in the past. Excuse the rambling, I've had 3 shots of coffee, so I'm just trying to keep my thoughts aligned. I've done this, again, off the bat, no notes in front of me. I've left my phone on the other side of the room, so I usually like to take a few notes. But I think the Submariner dates before, or the 116610 was a larger watch, so I think some people struggled. I don't think that has been addressed with the 126610, etc. I don't think it's been addressed. I think there's been a play in terms of the appearance. I think it's still a fairly larger watch for many people, heavier. But anyway, so listen, you've decided to go for a sub, great. What I have noticed about this Submariner, regardless of the color, is the clasp. It's bloody huge, like it's a big clasp. That clasp is going to be hitting some tables when you're doing your little desk diving or whatever you're doing. It's going to be hitting some tables. Whatever, I mean, you know, that's just part and parcel of having any watch, any jewellery, whatever, you're going to touch the table, but it's a big clasp. And if it wasn't for the fact that I look down on my watch like that and I just see it like that, I genuinely think I'm wearing a Sea Dweller. I genuinely think I'm wearing the 50th anniversary Sea Dweller. It's a big clasp. You know, I've only got this, I've only got my pre-ceramic to compare it with, so it's pointless, but it's a big clasp. I thought the previous bracelet was great. I thought it was great, the previous bracelet. I thought the watch was perfect. So in that sense, again, everything's been folded in a way so that it presents itself as a neater, more slimline package. No point going over the movement. You know, Hulk versus Kermit 2.0. You know, obviously the movement's been adjusted. It's a better movement. I think you get 70 hours now. Some people really care about that. I don't. I'm happy with 40 hours or 48 hours. It doesn't really bother me. I don't mind winding a watch. It's fine. It would be a deal breaker for me. But it's a welcomed update. It's about time. Rolex are quite behind the times on sort of updating some of their lines with the latest movements. But you know, it's here, it's done, so happy with that. As always, beautifully sounding bezel clicks. I think it's 120 clicks. You know, if you wear this watch, I put it on yesterday evening. If you wear the watch in the evening, you think you're wearing a Hulk. Like I really thought I was wearing a Hulk yesterday evening when I put this watch on at home. I could have sworn I was wearing a Hulk. And do you notice the adjusted lugs? Yes and no. Yes and no. The Hulk has obviously bigger shoulders. You do see it. It's one of the things that started bothering me about that series, that particular reference, as I got deeper into my watch journey. It's been adjusted to a good enough extent for me, where I prefer how this watch presents itself on the wrist versus the Hulk. Honestly, now I'm sitting in my living room, and it's not very light. It's moderately light in here. I've got my exposure up 1 point, I think, on the camera, so it looks a little bit brighter, but I still feel that I'm wearing a Hulk. I still feel like I'm wearing a Hulk, and it's nice. I do like that. When you walk outside in the sunshine and the sun just hit the dial on the Hulk, it was lovely. It was really nice. But as much as I liked that, it you know, it was great when I hit the dial on the Hulk, the sunburst and the shine, but it's not a reason. I mean, it's good enough reason to choose the Hulk. I'll be honest, I am thinking about it now. Sometimes I've sat in a sunny place, location, park, beach, and the sun's hitting the Hulk, but do I want that from a watch? It's a nice thing to see, but the Hulk wasn't the best watch to kind of choose your suits with, let's say. If you're wearing particular suits, particular shirts, ties, the Hulk kind of struggled to sort of fit in. I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't have to, you can wear a Rolex with anything. You don't have to choose your clothes. I mean, it's important that you wear a watch and not the watch wears you. I think so many people these days are falling into the trap of the watch wearing them. Everyone's wearing the watches so delicately, so, you know, wear it on special occasions. It's like the watch wears you. Wear the watch, wear the watch. If you're buying a watch and, you know, the values skew things, then, you know, you're not alone. There's many people experiencing that. But anyway, I'm not going to muddle my my short overview. I just want to see, I've got enough time. Yeah, I've got some time still. So yeah, guys, I kind of wanted to touch on that. I'm a little bit frustrated. I'm a little bit late to the party on the Hulk versus Kermit 2.0 comparison. I really did want to do it a couple of weeks ago. Probably a good thing, as my mate is, he's pretty big. I mean, his Kermit is, I think it's too big for me anyway. I'm not sure if he's even added a link to his Kermit. Out of the box, this one looks alright. I mean, I can adjust the clasp, and it sits pretty perfect. I mean, depending on the weather, maybe add a link, take off a link, I don't know. But, you know, to add and kind of summarize things on the Hulk versus Kermit 2.0 front, if you're, obviously we're going to forget retail. You can't get the Hulk in retail, so it's not really a choice. Shall I get a Kermit 2.0 at retail or a Hulk? Forget it. But if you're in the market where you've got 14,000, 15,000 pounds, 16,000 pounds, I think that's how much they sell for, and you're deciding which one to go for, I can imagine myself in a seat and I'm thinking to myself, well, one's been discontinued, you know, one's going to keep going up in price. I've got the fear of missing out, FOMO, well inside me, so I should get the Hulk while I still can. But everything gets discontinued eventually at Rolex. You know, the Hulk, when I bought it, I wasn't even thinking about discontinued. I wasn't thinking that way at all. It was current. It just wasn't a black sub. So if you're thinking about getting a Kermit over a Hulk or a Hulk over a Kermit, me personally, I'd go Kermit. I prefer Kermit. I think obviously the Hulk has a better bracelet, but I think in terms of balance, in terms of looks, in terms of, you know, general aesthetic, in terms of not being maybe over the top with colouring, I think the Kermit is perfect. But then again, if you really want the full green, the full pop in the sunlight, you know, I can't say anything against that. I had a Hulk, I loved it. I had a few of them. I was always chasing the same feeling that my first Hulk gave me, but I lost it. That's why I didn't end up keeping any subsequent Hulks. If you're choosing between a black sub and a Kermit, I would go Kermit. I just prefer a little bit of colour, a little bit of difference. Now, if you're going for a one watch, and this is based on your own personality, if you're a little bit quieter, if you're a little bit, if you're less, should we say, extrovert, go for the black. But you know, this video isn't really about the black sub. This video is about two green watches. One's more green than the other, and one's discontinued and one's current. And I think all in all, if I'm making up, weighing things up with regards to buying in the grey market, because that's the only market where you can choose between these watches at the same price, I would go Kermit 2.0. And that's about it, guys. I don't want to ramble on. I hope I've touched on a few things there. There are probably some more intricate videos out there who've gone into histories and types of chemicals and types of properties that they've used to colour the dials and all that sort of good stuff. But if I was buying all over again and I was in a grey market, I would be going Kermit 2.0. I think it makes the black sub just that little bit different, but not too different. And with regards to the way that things are in the world right now, drawing more attention to your watch, well, why not? There are gold Submariners out there, there are diamond encrusted watches out there, so you know, you have to make that call, you have to make that judgment. But most importantly, just enjoy your watch, enjoy your choice, and I hope it makes you get everywhere on time. Thanks very much guys for watching. I look forward to reading some of the comment section, and speak soon. Take care, bye.